The classroom is set up. I am eagerly waiting for the first participants to arrive. We're talking about The Absolute Value of Mike, one of my favorite books, and I'm going to share with the math teachers that we can use this book to approach the 8th mathematical practices. And so I have 6 groups set up, so we'll actually work with 6 practices today. We'll work with some chart paper, they'll look at some manuals and look at a copy of the manual. They'll be able to explore the book, so there's a book on each station so that they can explore it. And then we'll do a gallery walk as well, so they can do some rotating and some movement and getting different perspectives. So we'll start in just a little bit. Let's go out and see about how many people are here at the event today. They're expecting 136, which is a good number for a Saturday workshop in Wilmington. So this is the front lobby, and we have a lot of people who are signing up and mingling. And it looks like a really great crowd. Looks like everybody's really engaged. And there's quite a few people down in the conference room. And we'll go down there in just a minute. But I'm so excited to see all the people who are here and all the math teachers who are mingling. Hopefully we'll have some great sessions today. Some kind of school bus display here for New Hanover County. But this is where all of the various vendors are sharing and have different information to share with the participants about the College of Education and different projects that they have going on. And so the vendors setting up. And there's a little dog. There's a little dog.
It's not working to log into the systems in the classroom, so find me or someone who works in this building to log you in. It's not working. Other than that, the Wi-Fi username and password should work in your laptops or other devices. I'm sorry.
No, you do in the building with one of the college.
Yes, this is true.
Good morning. I'm Ken Titlebaum, and I am the Dean of the Watson College of Education here at CW. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this conference and welcome you to our building.
6 hours of training. You come in, we'll teach you how to use the robots, we'll teach you how to use the Star Lab, things like that. Sometimes, if my schedule permits, I have 20 hours of community service leave that I can take. So I can get out, I can leave my job for the day, and I can go out, hang out in the classroom for 20 hours and do whatever you need help with. So remember that as well. This stuff, you send me an email on the pencils and things are our contact information. You call us, you can reserve any of the stuff we have. The Veneer ProWare you'll see in one of the sessions today. I'm sure you'll see the calculators. I don't know if the robots are here or not today, but
So now everybody's starting to come out and we're starting to come to the sessions. And let's hope we have some people who come to my session. I'm so excited. I'll stand up here and like promote it. Maybe people will come see it. But I never ever use the same novel twice. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Marlow Artis, and I am a 6th grade ELA teacher at Southie Middle School. So I'm from Cumberland County. And so I drove up an hour and a half to be here today, and I'm so excited to be here. Okay. There we go. All right. So the reason that we're here, poor people come, yay! The reason that we're here, that I'm here as an ELA teacher is because of this particular book. This book has totally changed my life. Like I said, I've never ever used the same novel twice, but because this book has been such a blessing to me, I look forward to doing it in the last 9 weeks. Last year when I taught this novel with my students, I did it right before the EOG, so allow me to review some Common Core standards for ELA, also for math as well for my math teacher. It was also a great collaboration tool. So even if as a math teacher you don't want to teach it in your room, you might be able to do this with your ELA teacher and he or she might be able to do it. The book is about a boy named Mike. He's in 8th grade and he's actually about to go to high school. This is like the summer after his 8th grade year. And his dad is a math genius. His dad works at a university. He knows all this stuff about math and he like really just sucks up math. He just loves it. But his son is the opposite. He has dyscalculia, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is like the equivalent of dyslexia, it's like a math learning disability. So he does not know anything about math, he doesn't like math, and so his dad sends him to these relatives that he doesn't know, and he's supposed to work on this artesian screw. Yeah, artesian screw, which is like an engineering project. Well, actually his aunt, Moo, who's like really old, and like when you're reading it, my students and I, we thought it was like Betty White. That's who came to our mind was Betty White. She gets things mixed up. It's really an artisan's crew instead of an artisan's group. So because she didn't mix it up, it's not really an engineering project. They're really trying to get this boy from Romania because one of the townspeople is trying to adopt the boy. And it's going to take $40,000. So Mike, this 8th grader, soon to be 9th grader, has to, I'm spoiling it for you, aren't I?
That's okay.
He actually has to do all of these serious things in real life scenarios to try to raise money so that he can help the process. So he's using math in the real world. So it's a great way. And the reason it's called the absolute value of Mike is even though we might look at him and realize and think that he's disabled, in actuality, he's very capable of a lot of things, just like a lot of our boys and girls that we label them and they might have deficiencies in one area, but in another area they might be quite intelligent. That's why multiple intelligences are very important. So that's the whole thing. So it has like a really nice theme, has a lot of math in it, it's very funny. It's just a great, great, great book. Hello, come on in. No, don't need to be sorry, we're just glad you're here. Okay, so what I did with my kids, if you look on your table, there's different variations. Some of them are in folders, or some of them are not. But really, and I've got a couple more here if I can show you. We made a Common Core manual. So for the first 9 weeks, this is all that I did with my kids. They were in groups of 3, kind of like you all are. And they actually, we made this complete manual, and I'll share with it. So if you want to share with the ELA teacher, or if you want to do some of these things, because just because I did it with English language arts this way, you might be able to adjust it, and you can do it with math however you want to. So these are the components of the Common Core manual. The first thing, if you open up the book, the first thing that each chapter starts with is a math vocabulary term. Okay? So the first, and I'm talking about the actual novel, if you open the novel up. Now the first chapter is entitled Parallel Lines. So what I would do each day with the kids, after we did our warm-up, which was some kind of poem related to the book, I would actually give them this math vocabulary term. And then I also would give them an illustration. So that was the first thing. And then after we would read it, then we write a summary of the chapter. Now this year I'm going to switch a little bit. I'm actually going to have them to do more of a translation of this title because I want them to tell how does Parallel Lines relate to what they read. Because last year we were just doing summaries and they actually would tell what happened in the book, but it might not correlate with the title. So this year I want them to kind of translate and correlate with the title. I think that would be more bang for my buck. Then we would actually do the standards, the academic vocabulary, and extension activities, and I'll share that.
You could make analogies.
Yes, how to do analogies, that's absolutely right. So this would be on the board, parallel lines would be our vocabulary word, and then we would actually have an illustration so they can actually see what it looks like. So that gives me my visual people, I'm going across the content because I'm doing mathematics, and I'm reviewing some key vocabulary terms that the math teacher may be reviewing or may have already gone over previously. Alright, so this was translation. So this would be a kind of a good assessment of chapter 1. Mike and his father live in the same house, however they hardly interact or intersect. So that's why they're parallel lines because they don't cross at all. It's like they're in 2 totally different worlds. And all the other chapters have similar scenarios like that. So if we go through, the next one is transversal lines. For chapter 2, transversal line. And then chapter 3, skew line. So some of the terms, since I teach 6th grade, they weren't aware of. But it was good foundation because they may hear it in 7th grade, they may hear it in 8th grade, they may hear it in high school. But you know, the point is that so what I would do is we would read the novel together in a whole group, and then after we would read it, then they would work in their groups and they would have about a good 15, 20 minutes to work on it. So I would give them 2 days at each station. But now this year when I do it, since I have a 90-minute blog, we would read probably like 2 chapters the first half of the 90 minutes, and then the second half I just let them complete their station work, and then we'll rotate the next time we come to classroom. And they're discussing the question stems, they're discussing the vocabulary, they're discussing the novel. So it was really a great time. And this is how I prepared for the EOG. I did not do any remediation. I didn't do any drilling. I prepared using this novel, and then as soon as the EOG was over, then we went right back to the novel. It was like there is not a movie to the absolute value of Mike, but you know what I tied in with it? The Odd Life of Timothy Grant. Have you all seen that movie? Mm-mm. Well, it's a movie with Jennifer Garner and some man I don't know, some little boy I don't know. But I do know Jennifer Garner. But it's a really good movie about a boy who comes to this town and he kind of changes the whole town. And the same thing happens to Mike when he goes to Pennsylvania. He lives and goes to stay with his great aunt and uncle. He changes the whole town, and both stories deal with adoption as well. So I tied this movie in with them. So I'm always doing like that. And then I'll just use like an ABC brainstorming sheet. So I just list A to Z on the page, and then they here's the example right here. I have the kids just put the topic is the movie, and in parentheses they put the book, and then while you're watching the movie, you have to look for connections with the book. Then in parentheses you put how it connects with the book. So it's really rigorous because as you're watching, you got to like pay close attention to try to say, oh, adoption, and say, oh, might help Karen adopt Misha. So I really like that. It's better than just a regular Venn diagram. It's so overused. All right, so these are the 8 mathematical packs. So raise your hand if you're familiar with these. Okay, the math teacher one. Which one? The plot profile?
Plot profile.
The plot profile. Mm-hmm.
They can argue their personal choices and kind of make reasons as to why, and then critique other people's choices and their reasonings more, not their choice.
So,
Discussion on that.
for me personally, I'm like, I have a language arts, social studies teacher personality. I talk Uncle Remus stories, we could be on a tangent about who knows what. So as a math teacher, I would probably get caught up with the language arts portion of it, and we'd be talking about the issues, and we'd be talking about this and that, and the kids would share stories. So it would come back around to math, but I would enjoy it way too much, like way. So I would have to kind of hand it off to the language arts teacher, so that her time could be spent. And then I could go on the blog and just say, it could be a Christmas gift. I could just wrap it up. Here's this blog and this book. Happy 9 weeks. You know?
Right. We're going to do a gallery walk. And normally what I would do with the gallery walk, and I'll do it differently today, but normally what I would do is I would have one person to say, okay, one person would be the ambassador, or 2 people would be like the ambassador, and then like 1 person or 2 people would stay behind. So like if it's a group of 4, I'm gonna have 2 people to serve as the ambassadors and 2 people to serve as the spokesperson. The spokesperson stay behind, they represent, they tell what the whole thought process was, but then the ambassadors, they travel for the group, okay? But today we're just going to let everybody travel, and everybody's going to read. And as you're traveling, if you have any questions, then we'll come back and we'll address those questions. Like if somebody put something on their sheet that you didn't understand or you didn't get the thought process, you know, ask that question once we convene back to our groups, and then we'll go from there. Does that sound okay? All right, so we're going to go from 1 to 2, and then 2 is going to come over to 6. Okay? So everybody rotate. So leave your sheet, just move your body.
Or definition.
The vocabulary and definition drops the train. Yeah.
Over here.
Numbers and variables in mathematical expressions, equations, and inequalities. Students contextualize to understand the meaning of the numbers or variables as related to problems, and decontextualize to manipulate symbolic representations. So we were saying that the depth in the book is not really there for them to analyze the actual mathematical concepts and computations. I mean, the concept is there, and the concept of application is there, and the examples of application are there, but it doesn't really give them, I mean, just in the book, it's not like it would give them really an in-depth example or require them to come up with an in-depth example.
So now teacher would have to dig a little bit deeper and add some things to it. You couldn't just use it as is. You had to go add some various
formulas and things like that.
Right.
So if the ELA teacher is using this book, then the math teacher can go back in their room and
It's kind of like
conceptualize
you
it.
could say you could tell me the ingredients from the book. You can tell me the ingredients, but you can't give me the amounts. You could tell me what's in Grandma's pumpkin bread, but you can't tell me the measurements.
Okay.
So I guess that would be my analogy.
Good. All right, everybody rotate.
Okay, they have what numbers? 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
And quantity. Oh, that's what we said.